So we'll start with the presentations. We're going to go in backward order this year. So I'm going to call Mayor Thom Koch up to talk about what goes on in Vernon Hills and have him introduce who's with him today at the table. Thom?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank the Chamber. 80 years, I can testify to the fact that I've lived within this Chamber about 80% of those 80 years. So I've been around a while, and it's amazing what the Chamber does. As Scott said, we've been keeping them very busy with a lot of ribbon cuttings. So thank you for the opportunity to update you about it. Next slide, please. A lot of new stuff coming into Vernon Hills. We've had a very positive trend, both with retail and some of the corporate stuff that's coming in. I have to tell you, I still work as a substitute teacher at a middle school, and they all know I'm the mayor. And the burning question for the last 6 months to a year has been, when is Raising Cane's opening? So I was finally able to tell them within the last couple weeks, hey, I've got you a date, Tuesday, June 2nd. So everybody at the middle school, thinks I walk on water because I've got Cane's opening. But it's been a lot of other places, a number of which I'll talk about. And Hawthorne Mall is also moving ahead quite quickly right now. Next slide, please. Mendocino Farms, a family-owned business that comes in from the West Coast. We're the first one in the suburbs now. It's a restaurant that does fresh sandwiches and salads. They're in the Melody Farms area. Next one, please. One of our businesses that's doing extremely well has been the Yard House. They're right off Milwaukee there. They've been doing incredible business. In fact, we're working very hard right now with the mall and with Perry's to expand the parking over in that area because both them and Perry's have been doing so well. In reference to what was said earlier about being here and not getting a beer, Yard House has, their thing is that they have the most beers on draft of anybody, and I am gradually working my way through the list. Next slide, please. Hawthorne Mall is very much in a state of development, and it's all heading in a great direction. What you're seeing here is the fact that we've already got the domain open, and they are at a very, very high rate, nearly 100% occupation. The whole complex is getting bigger and better. They're in the process of, we've redesigned the road around there, and I'll show you some slides of what it looks like now and what it's going to look like in the future, including our plaza that we're putting in there. Next slide, please. The domain is one of the places that I've been talking about. It opened in June of 23. Our biggest goal right now is to get to where we move to 2028 as a finished product for the mall. That's our goal, is to be done with it in a couple of years. It's going to expand a number of parts of it, an additional 64,000 square feet. It's all going to be, both of the apartment buildings are going to be residential, second floor up, and retail on the first level. Next slide, please. This is part of the mall overview of phase 2. You can see it looks a lot like what phase 1 is. They're almost carbon copies of each other. And Focus is the one developing this for us. I think it's going to be really, really good. Next slide, please. The next 5 slides of that, we're going to show you some of what it's going to look like. This is what it looks like now if you were standing up at the upper level of the parking by where the entrance to AMC is, looking down. This is what it looks like now. That's the east wall where they've got the mural there. Okay, next slide. This is what we want it to eventually look like. We're hoping this will turn into, we're going to keep about 2.5 acres as open space, pedestrian friendly. We've already been doing a number of events there. The mall has been working with the Domain and Hawthorne Row. We've done an Earth Day celebration there, a blood drive. We've done artisan markets. We did an incredible Halloween event. We're hoping this will become almost like the downtown we've never had. That's one of the things we're currently shooting for with it. Next slide, please. This again is, you'll see what it looks like. This is the area from looking at it from a little bit south. Next slide. And eventually what it'll look like. One of the big things is going to be that whole east and south sides of the mall are now going to be retail but open to the outside. You won't have to go into the mall to get into those stores. It'll be open to the outside. Most of them will be open on both ends. You'll be able to go into it from the outside or come into it from the mall. So it'll make both the outdoor retail better, and it'll make the mall itself much, much better. Next slide. This is the south face, and again, you can see this is where they're rebuilding a lot of it, and the mural will be gone. Next slide. And this is what we hope it'll look like when it's done. Again, all of that outdoor-facing retail is part of our goal. Okay. Next slide. This is the new townhomes that are going in by the mall. 46 rental units, all 3 stories. They will be up on the upper level just to the west of Perry's. All of this, we're hoping that all of this new retail and the access to the mall and all the residential will make this mall as vibrant as it can possibly be. Next slide, please. We're also expanding some of our industrial stuff. This is a site, this is the old American Hotel Register site. It's going to be turning into what is being called Vernon Hills Industrial Park, 70 acres, about a little over 1 million square feet of new warehouse and industrial space. Next slide, please. This is some of the area that we've done some significant expansion in terms of what we're doing. Since 2020, you can see that we've had Riviera Estates come online. We've had the Domain, the Everly, which is an adult 55 and over apartment complex where there was an old theater there for years. And Woodland Chase, which is down at 45 and Buffalo Grove Road, is all single family. That's what's already on. Next slide, please. And the new ones coming on are Hawthorne Rose Phase 2 and the townhomes that I've talked about. We're also doing some redeveloping that we're going to look at in a little bit here on South Milwaukee Avenue, an additional group of homes there. Next slide, please. This is what Connor McShane is proposing on. This is Milwaukee Avenue, right about at the American Hotel Register light, but on the east side. 282 apartment units and 18 townhomes. Next slide. River's Edge is going to be adding 17 townhome units. They're just to the south of that. Next slide. And this is Cedarhurst and assisted living units. They will also have some memory care. They're going to be right in the mix of that too. And we're in the process of trying to put in exactly what it's going to take to help with the traffic there. All of this residential, we hope, will help with the mall and that. That means that we've put in, when all this is completed, approximately 1,300 new residential units since 2020. So this should help with our retail base and everything. Next slide, please. Last but not least, before we leave you with this as I close, earlier this year, Loyola University decided they were leaving the Cuneo estate. So as a result, it reverts back to us. Over the next year, we're going to have a number of meetings and get-togethers with like town halls to find out where we're going with this. I do know one thing I'm already working on, and that is I am playing the Powerball with great regularity because I think this would make a great mayoral mansion. But in order to get there, I have to win one of the big Powerballs. Otherwise, otherwise we can't do it. But over the next year, we're going to figure out exactly what we can do with this. Next slide. No truth to the rumor, this is our new logo, unless Whole Foods wants to come up with some cash. No, this is just one of the signs on the side there, and we put this up there because it does really kind of put together what we have. And in closing, I'd just like to say we have a number of our staff here. As the other mayors can tell you, being mayor is the easy part. It's the staff that does everything. I mean, they're the people that do everything for us. And with me today, you've already met Chief Crease. We've got our village manager, Kevin Timoney, is here. Our Director of Public Works, Chris Vanatta, and our Director of Community Development, Andrew Jennings. And then 4 people I'd really, really like to thank. Lynn Brandel, who is our person who puts all this stuff together for me, Kristen Svensson, who keeps track of all of my dates and stuff and helped put this together, Mike Stordo, who's responsible for all of these great photographs you've seen, and our Assistant Village Manager, Kate Buggy, who couldn't be here today. So thank you for your time, and again, I'm serious about the fact that I really have lived in this area, in the Mundelein, this whole area of this chamber, almost all of my life, and it is, it's incredible what this area has done for Lake County and how this is almost like, I call this is the heart of Lake County, right here in this 4 areas. So thank you again.
Thank you, Thom. Next, I'm going to call up Mayor Robin Meier from the Village of Mundelein.
Well, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Scott and Carol, for all you do, making all those pictures and everything. With me today, I have several trustees, Arnie Krinsky and Tony Ugaste as our trustees representing us, our village administrator, Eric Gunther, our deputy village administrator, Lynn Monroe, our assistant village administrator, Tamika Jones, and our community development director, Amanda Renchuk. So we couldn't do what we do without all of the whole team. So I really appreciate that. So one of the things, you can go to the next slide. One of the things that surprises everybody is in the 2020 consensus, we realized that Mundelein was the second largest city in Lake County, and that's something that even we don't always recognize. And so it's something that we have to change our mindset on, that we are larger than we think we are, and that there's more going on, and we're not on the side anymore. So that's one of the things. Here's one of the things that, you know, as Thom was talking about, residential density matters, because when you have the units and the people available, it brings in your businesses. Now, while Vernon Hills doesn't have any problem with businesses, sometimes we do, because we don't get the major retail chains that Vernon Hills has. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs and family businesses, service businesses, and a lot of that. So your residential density is very, very important to bring that in. And we're lucky right now because we were at the 961 unit, that they say that the sweet spot is 1,000 units to encourage businesses to come. So we're almost there, and we'll probably be there very soon. Next slide. So some of the things that we have going right now is, if you've been by our village hall, there is a huge residential building going up on the bottom one, and that's Flaherty and Collins, and they're calling that area, and they're in the process of building that, and that should probably be ready sometime next summer. Flaherty and Collins is also doing 17 townhome units that are along Plaza Circle, and those should be ready for occupancy pretty soon, I think. All right, and then Springs at Mundelein, which was on Butterfield Road, that's one that they're finishing up and they're starting occupancy, and it is going really well. One of the residents, well, they kind of wonder about who's going to live in all these places and they're going to be vacant. What we're finding is that they're hitting full occupancy in record time. So there are people still coming and wanting to be in these units and that. Next slide. So to give you an idea of where we were and where we're going so far is, if you can look at in 2016, we did a comparison from 2016 to now. Our commercial outside of the downtown has gone from 81% to 93%. Our downtown area went from 66% occupancy to 84%. So that's a great increase on where we're going. Industrial has stayed pretty stagnant. It's 94% to 95%. So that's been pretty consistent throughout the time. Next slide. So some of the things that we do to support businesses is we have our business grants, our business incentive grant, our big program. One of the things, we have a membership grant for the GLMV, so our businesses could apply for that grant. So we're trying to promote people from joining GLMV. We have our STAR grant is one of them. And then one of our big projects that we're working on that we're very, very excited about is we have a task force now that is working on micro shops. And I don't know if you're familiar with micro shops. I have them in McHenry and some other places. But it's kind of that in-between the home business versus the brick and mortar business of trying it out. Can I be successful? And the intent is, hopefully, if they're successful, and there's a learning curve too, while you have these micro shops, is that then they will move into vacant spaces in our town. So that's one of the things that we're really, really excited about that's going on. Next slide. So Mundelein is a very inclusive and diverse area. We have lots of different populations, and we try to support all of them because we want to promote diversity and inclusivity. Another area that we're really working on is events and tourism. So when you have events, you're bringing in people from outside your town, you're bringing in people from inside your town, and you hope that they will then visit your town, shop in your town, dine in your town. And so events are very, very important to that goal. And that's one of the things that we're actively working on. And you can see here are some of our events that we do. The bike race, which is an international bike race that we have. It's just fascinating to be there that day because you have people from many, many countries and all over the world and all over the country in that. So we have our art festival, our winter tree lighting, spring into summer. I mean, there are just tons of different events, and we look at starting and including more events as we go on. Arts and culture is another area that's very, very important. People are looking for entertainment. People are looking for the arts. We try to incorporate that throughout the town with various sculptures. One of the projects that we're also working on is an arts and community center to bring in people, to bring in theater, to bring in art shows. Our Lure of the Local is very, very important and draws in quite a few different people, and it's been very successful. And we also, I just recently attended a District 128 strategic planning, and the Village of Mundelein is also looking at a strategic planning session that will take place sometime this fall so that we can look at public input from this session. You get public input, input from taxing bodies, input from all around, to make sure that we're on the right path and that we're satisfying our residential and business base. So that's also very important. We've just recently done a housing study, and that housing study, we wanted to gauge where are we at. Is there a need for more housing? Are we reaching that limit? And we're finding out that there is still a lot of room for housing. So soon that more information will come out of that study. We've just received a draft on that. So pretty much that's it. And that, thank you, everybody.
Mayor Johnson.
Good afternoon to everyone. I want to thank GLMV, and of course, I'm biased because the president of GLMV is my senior trustee, Scott Adams. So I'd like for you to give him a round of applause for all he does for the chamber. I also want to thank him and his staff for having the vision to put this on annually every year. I have participated and others have too, and I think it's something wonderful to educate people on what we're doing throughout the region and the area, so that's important. I'd also like to extend a warm congratulations on an 80-year mark. Anyone who gets to a milestone of 80 years is doing something right, so congratulations to the chamber for that. And just as we introduce the Libertyville video, I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that why it's so important to be involved in the chamber and why it's important to have a chamber. First of all, we have an opportunity to collaborate and partner and learn from each other. Some of us are landlocked. I'm one of those landlocked communities, so I always love when Thom goes first. And thank you for what you brought up for Mundelein, but unfortunately I'm not dealing with the same vast level of land that they are. So we do what we can with what we have demographically, and that's why it's so important to be involved in the chamber, because when you're trying to attract business and you're trying to partner and you're trying to collaborate, it's very, very important that we all understand what our unique needs are, and sometimes we can learn from each other on things that we have explored that could work for all of our communities. So that's the great thing about the chamber. So having said that, let's get started. We have a promo video of Libertyville. Please enjoy. It's quite short, but it's a good thing to tell you a little bit about who we are.
In Libertyville, every visit unfolds like a moment waiting to be discovered. Families gather by the lake, and time seems to slow. Curated boutiques offer one-of-a-kind treasures. Each visit met with personal attention that makes every guest feel valued. Places where exceptional scratch kitchen and chef-driven meals become lasting memories, crafted with intention and alive with creativity. Libertyville delivers experiences that inspire connection, spark curiosity, and stay with you long after your journey ends.
So what that tells all of you is that Libertyville's charm and its brand is people love the hometown feel, the quaintness of our C1 downtown district, and in terms of manufacturing and industrial footprint, we have the former complex for Motorola that's now Innovation Park, and one of the things I'm most proud of is that we hosted a BizNow Summit in Innovation Park, bringing in industry and manufacturing to let them know that we're here and we're inviting them to come, and we want to expand our footprint in that capacity. So Libertyville, even though we are landlocked in many capacities, we have a lot of offerings, and we have found that people love the quaintness in terms of living here and bringing their young children here, and the other added part is they love to invest in this community from a manufacturing and industrial standpoint. So we love that. Moving on to our financial health, which is very, very important, and things I'd like to highlight. But first, you want to make sure that you give credit to the people that drive these numbers. Our board, but more importantly that's here, is my village administrator, Kelly Amadei, as well as my deputy administrator, Ashley Engelman. Denise Joseph is not here, but Denise is our director of finance. She's done a great job this year, and she is the one that I can attribute a lot of value to upgrading our bond rating as of 2026. We now have the highest bond rating, a AAA rating. You say why that's important when we get to the next slide. Don't go there yet. We're building a police station, and as you know, when it comes to construction loans and lending, your bond rating goes a long way in terms of getting competitive interest rates. So we're very happy about that. We also received the Government Finance Officers Association Triple Crown Award, and that goes a long way to what Denise, our Director of Finance, has done. We're a very fiscally responsible board and community, and we always are trying to make sure that we're good stewards of the finances, as evidenced by those accomplishments up there with the 3 stars. And now when we talk about our overall budget across 22 funds, it's estimated $138 million. And then we get specific with the general fund, which provides, our day-to-day operations, police, fire, public works, parks, and all that's indicated there. Our general fund total budget for this year is approximately $41 million. So we believe we've done a lot to be fiscally responsible and to expand those resources and put them where they're best needed so the residents can benefit and also our staff and people that support them can do that. Moving down to capital improvements, our total budget for capital improvements is an estimated $67 million. So what does that do for our residents in our community in terms of long-range vision? We have playground construction on 2 playgrounds, approximately $200,000 per site. Our new police station, estimated $43 million. We have a new Adler pool feature, which is about $250,000. But in an area like this where we're all impacted by flooding, it's really important to invest in our wastewater treatment plant and water main improvements at $1.8 million. And many of our residents are very, very, very happy about that. So I would also tell you that what is really significant for me in terms of those 2 park projects, is that we are forecasting for the Joanne Ekman Park and also the Timber Creek Park. And so those things are important because what they do is it demonstrates to the community that we're reinvesting in green space. We're reinvesting and offering their tax dollars to allow them to have family-focused, family-friendly options. So we think that is very, very important. But the other thing too is to demonstrate how living in Libertyville and being fiscally responsible, they get the benefit of their dollars. So right now, we have achieved, by keeping our tax bills steady and stable without increases. On estimate, village services only represent about 8.5% of one's total tax bill, which means approximately 9 cents on every property tax dollar stays with the village to support local services. And so that's significant for people. And when you put the chart up in terms of what we charge and what they get for their tax dollars in our community here in Lake County, Libertyville is second from the bottom, which means we're really doing a lot with providing services at a very economically feasible rate, and we're very, very proud of that. So now moving down to the police station slide. You can move forward. Okay. I'm very proud of this. This is an initiative that when I came aboard my first term that I led, I saw a need for it, a need in so many different buckets. When you have an environment where people are providing a very valuable service like the police are, they need to be in an environment where they feel valued, where they can work, and it's not outdated. The last time that this facility was ever looked at was in 1968. And that tells you in terms of environmental standpoints and protection, just having the technology, that to be able to update that is a considerable task, but we're up to it. And I'm happy to say that as the project is moving forward, when it came to the bidding process, we came in under budget. Now that doesn't mean that when we come to the finish line that those dollars won't be absorbed, but it does give us a good start, and we're very, very, very happy about that. So the other thing too I wanted to mention regarding the police station project is that it's fully funded, and what we tried to do early on in an effort when I knew that we were going to be doing this was to try to ensure that I did not have to increase the tax levy to offer this additional feature. We looked for an alternative funding source that would help us complete this project where we wouldn't have to raise taxes. And so we're very happy that the results of that effort involved a 0.5% sales tax to minimize the financial impact on our tax-paying residents. So we had a fund that was already directing those funds there and building that fund before we went to open bidding. And so that is extremely, extremely significant for us. Also too, we like to support local. One of the local architectural firms called the Hesner Group did a need and space need assessment for us. and that was conducted in 2022, which gave us the opportunity to think about where we would want to put it, estimated costs for where we would want to place it, and how we could maximize square footage for the kind of plan that would provide our police officers and their leadership with an environment that could lead into the future. So we were all very, very happy about that. So as I indicated earlier, when we opened it up for bidding and the final bid, it came under our budgeted amount. So we believe that is a good start pre-construction. So we're happy about that. And more importantly, what we're looking forward to, and hope this is the end result, is that this will allow our first responders to understand how to operate efficiently and effectively in a better environment with better resources. And it'll also be an attractive tool to use in recruitment, because police and fire these days is a very, very competitive environment. And where we used to get 200 applicants for a position, that has dwindled down to about 50. And out of those 50, maybe half may be desirable for the role. So it's a very competitive environment, and we think this will put us in a better position. Also, too, I think what this does is it enhances the service offerings for our residents, and ultimately, as elected officials and a board, it is our goal to not only enhance the services for the residents, but to also be fiscally responsible and bring it in under budget. So we're very, very happy about that. And again, for this, kudos goes to the team that supported me in that effort. Village Administrator Amade worked with me from the very time that I came in and told her this was a vision of mine. She was very, very helpful, and so I'm very happy about that. And our chief of police, who's in the middle of moving, and that is the reason why he's not here, Ed Ronconi. Both of them together and the board supported me in this effort, and I'm happy to see that we've made progress. Now, can we move on to the next slide? Okay, economic vitality. First of all, I want to start by saying, the head of our Community Development Department, Heather Rowe, who's here at the table, and our Economic Development Director, Mary, where are you? Okay, oh, you're right here, that's right. Mary Oshana, the two of them have played a key role in collaborating on bringing economic vitality forward into Libertyville. And I'm just so happy about those numbers, because between 2025 and 2026, Libertyville tracked $39.1 million in private sector investment. We think within a 1-year span, that is a great number, and we look forward to continuing to achieve that and exceed that amount. And that's across new developments, renovations, and business expansion. So a 5.4% year-over-year increase. Those numbers are good and they're competitive. We welcomed over 75 new businesses and relocations during that period. So some of the new openings we listed below, which are the Toy Court, Pramila Artworks, Fleet Feet, which is, you know, if you're running, that's something you need to look at, Club 5 Health, Game Day Men's Health, Hot Works, Libertyville Longevity and Light Center, and Early Bird Quilt Shop, and then also to the front room, which everyone seems to find very attractive these days as a gathering spot and a meeting location for many of our residents. So this again demonstrates that in terms of new businesses coming in, the 75 new businesses, the investment of $39.1 million, and in terms of job impact, 150 plus projected jobs in the second quarter leading into 2027, and then in terms of tourism, the projected dollars of $12.8 million. So we believe that this sort of investment and expansion and growth is something very, very important, and has lent itself to having Libertyville's brand be positive, as well as adding to the financial coffers of Lake County in general. So that is very, very important to us. Now, I just want to briefly just shine a light on the fact that new jobs have been added by Ahead. They're on their third expansion as a company within Libertyville. They're a state-of-the-art liquid-cooled infrastructure integration facility, and it bodes very well that when they decided to expand and reinvest, that they decided to remain in Libertyville and do that. So that tells you that they see us as an opportunity to expand, a quality pool for recruitment in terms of their staff and their employees, and in terms of transportation and where we are off 294 and the Pace bus support and the Metro line, they view that as something very, very attractive. And then we have Takeda Pharmaceuticals, has an 80,000 square foot facility expansion at Innovation Park, which was formerly the Motorola campus. And so there are many other expansions there. And in terms of occupancy with that big campus over the last several 5 or 6 years, are they in the 80% range?
They're about 70 to 80%.
So we're very, very happy about that. So it's important to note that in order for a community like ours to be able to advance these numbers and the dollars and to attract people to come in and retain the current business, it's important to invest in your economic development director. That is your person on the ground that goes and talks to the businesses, assesses where they are, what the problems, their points where they feel like they can't keep their doors open. What can we do as a community to collaborate with them? That communication needs to maintain. That's why it's so important to have an economic development director, because they're your boots on the ground to ensure that. And then as people expand, which I just referenced, they need to be able to visualize where they can go and remain in Libertyville. So our EDC director, meets with them, determines where there's places that they could go and look at it. And just to give you a clear example, even when Heather was EDC, before she came to the director of community development, you remember the old First National Bank, beautiful brick building, but when banking transitioned from having such a large footprint to a smaller footprint, it was Heather that met with them and told them, said, you know what, we could put you somewhere else. And when the car dealership that's there now, Gregory's Infinity, was looking for another place to go, and they were looking in another community, we said you can remain here because this is a place for you if you can envision it for the future. And that's the key benefit of having a staff that can pitch and sell and know what your business community needs, retain them in your community, and make the business case for why they need to stay with you. Next slide. So in terms of business recognition and support, like so many other communities presented ahead of me, we have a grant opportunity too as well, local grants to incentivize businesses to do things like our business resiliency match grant, that's $5,000, and then our facade and site improvement matching grant, $25,000. And a real good example of that, if you're driving on 176 going east, you will see Studio 104? Yes. Studio 104, this young woman, a young entrepreneur, she's in the hair business. She took an old house, and through this grant and matching funds, she has totally changed the face of it, which has not only enhanced her customer base and book of business, but it also attracts people in Libertyville on our main thoroughfare that are leaving the community going west to east. And that building is like a footprint that attracts people, and then they acquire about, this is an opportunity maybe where I can start a small business in Libertyville. So we're very, very happy about that. And the other thing too is our Business Excellence Award program. That program was launched by our Economic Development Commission. I'm very, very happy about their forethought in doing that. And so what they do is, it takes the opportunity to highlight and feature businesses within our community and feature the contributions that they make to the community, both economically and in partnership and working together. So that's something that we want to continue to foster. And right now we have nominations coming in, and those are due in by June 30th, 2026. So anyone in the audience that has a business in mind that they feel would meet any of those categories and they want to nominate, just go on our community development website and you'll be able to find the Economic Development Division and the link to the application. So please do that. And then in terms of tourism, we know in Lake County and with Lake County partners that we always work with and the chamber, that tourism is very important to us. And so we have what we call now Libertyville is on-screen filming map. So one of the things I want to point out is that Libertyville has become a movie venue, which I'm very proud of. And so our downtown was recently featured in 2 Christmas movies that are kind of in the same concept of the Hallmark footprint. And if you want to look those up, Execs of Christmas and Past and Christmas at the Zoo We even had a showing here at Mickey Finn's. It was quite popular from people not only in Libertyville, but outside of Libertyville. And so it's a good revenue generator. It's a good brand featuring. And I will tell you, one of the things that we were able to do with this is that the film production people, we were able to get them to agree to not put fictional names on the businesses when they were filming downtown, but to retain their original names. So here is an expansion of their marketing budget that they don't have to use, and they're getting marketing and it's streaming, so it gives us an opportunity not only to feature Libertyville, but all of those businesses and what they do. So we're very, very proud of that, and we hope that continues. So the map that kind of tells you where these filming incidents occur and where they are in Libertyville, that is available on our Visit Libertyville website, and it continues to attract the attention of a lot of movie aficionados, which we love. And then we had collaboration. We're really happy about our pilot here. We realized that the way of the future are those people that are content creators, the youth. They're constantly filming. They have a wide following, a wide audience. They could live in the city where my daughter lives, but when they put something on social media or TikTok, it draws the attention not only of their peer group, but other people, and that can put Libertyville on the map. So we have collaborated with content creators across Illinois and Southeast Wisconsin. We had a launch brunch with them, and the very next day, they would come back on their own, go into local businesses, film them, film what they do, and feature it. And some of them have above 1 million followers. So all of a sudden now, where Libertyville was not known, or specific businesses in our community were not known, now you're tapping on a resource that will expand our footprint and our brand. So we're very happy about that. And then we've also developed itineraries to drive tourism. And so recently we updated our village website, which we're very happy about. And the purpose and goal of updating that website was to make it more user-friendly, easier to navigate for people that didn't know where things are. We even have a page that says, how do I find this? So it is so easy to learn. And what that does is, that drives tourism, because if people are trying to figure out what kind of businesses do they have in that area, is it worth the trip? Can I come up and find a business that does the following? It is so good. So we think that is a benefit to our tourism and key development. And then we have another feature. I've used it informally as the concept meeting, but we want to attract good development in our area. It not only benefits Libertyville, it benefits our neighbors, and it benefits the chamber and all groups. And so part of that is to allow people to come in and talk to us and find out what is available in our community for them in terms of relocation. What kind of zoning restrictions, what kind of land use potential could they encounter before they make a final submittal? So all of those are very, very good, and we think that's gone a long way to expand our economic vitality and to also expand our brand and increase the number of development opportunities that are here. So transitioning from that to key pending development projects that are in the pipeline. So we have on our upgraded site, go specifically to the community development page, and on that page you can see the status of all pending projects, where they are, what the status is, where they are with the process. And so we're just going to highlight some of what we think are wonderful opportunities that have come to Libertyville. Bath Concepts, which is already here. Now what they're doing is they're expanding, so they have a new industrial building that's currently under review. That's 600,000 square feet. It's a well-known brand. We're happy to have that in our backyard. We're happy that they were happy with us the first time and chose to expand in our community. We're also very happy when you talk about increasing housing inventory in the footprint. We have off of 137, the Greenway Chase proposed development that has been approved. On one side, on the west side, are 64 single-family homes. They're a smaller parcel footprint. They're intended to attract more entry-level home buyers. And then on the east side of that parcel, we have the 70 age-restricted duplex units, and we have also the 55 and above units on that side of the parcel. So we look forward to that development. We think it will be a great addition to Libertyville. It will allow, as so many people talk about, for second and third generation and young families to move into the community and enjoy it. So we're looking forward to that. And then finally, in our C1 downtown area, we have the 91-unit apartment development that's near Metro, so there's better transportation, and that project is about to go up and start very shortly, and it is approved. So we are happy to have these kinds of developments in our community, and it allows people to see that Libertyville, although landlocked, has a lot of development potential, that this will help the surrounding businesses in terms of increasing foot traffic, because as these developments move forward, particularly the Greenway Chase off of 137 and the one in our 91-unit downtown C1 district, that is our own internal foot traffic. And so people are inclined in terms of behavior patterns to support businesses that have easy access and close to them. And so we know this is going to be a direct benefit for our local businesses and restaurants. So we're very, very happy about that. I have some other wrap-up items that I want to talk about, but first I want to introduce the people that have supported me as village president or at the table in front of me. Valuable resource. So I'll start off with Trustee Pete Garrity. Thank you. And Pete has done a great job. He is the chair of our Parks and Rec. He is also was our point person with Swalco. Now he is leading that operation as a representative. So Pete has done a great deal beyond just being trustee to add value to the community. Thank you for that, Pete. And next to him is my village administrator, Kelly Amade. She is my wingman. I couldn't do what I do without her. And so we appreciate all the effort that she has put into helping me execute on the visions that I have. You cannot execute on a vision without good partnership, and she has been an excellent partner. Our newest trustee, who's also been actively engaged, Kara McDonald. Kara, thank you so much for bringing your past experience from an HR perspective and your experience with working with projects with Habitat for Humanity. We think it's a wonderful endeavor. Thank you for doing that. You've been a wonderful addition to the board. Andy Herman, who's also on the board, and Andy is also a local realtor, very involved in a lot of things, and I really appreciate it. And Andy is also my partner representative on JAWA, so thank you so much, Andy, for what you do. And Matt, how are you? Matt is our local resource, not only as a trustee to be involved and engaged, but when it comes to things that are involved in the development community, we all kind of look at Matt and say, Matt, what do you think? What has experience told you? What are some of the things we need to look for? And so for that, Matt, you don't have to provide all that extra lens, but you do, and we appreciate you for doing that so much. And I don't want to miss my senior trustee, Scott Adams, who's standing over here. Scott is a Libertyville product, generationally. Where is your granddaughter?
She's back there.
Where are you? Raise your hand, back there. And I will tell you, it is it's wonderful for me to see the second and third generation being committed and understanding, and for the blessing of having her grandfather alive, and she can see the behavior he models, civic engagement, being involved in the community, giving back, and the fact that he's healthy, to see all that is such a blessing. And I am just grateful that he continues to be engaged in the community, not only through the chamber, but as a trustee, but also with other local activities, and bringing the next generation and his family forward to see what kind of contributions he's made to the community. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Heather, thank you again. Heather has brought in a lot of innovation, and she has partnered with me as the Director of Community Development to, these are my words, not hers, because I was a trustee for 4 terms. I wanted to dispel that rumor of good developments can't come into Libertyville because Libertyville always says no. That is no longer our brand. That is not how we see things. When we see opportunities where we can collaborate and we can provide an opportunity and it's consistent with our vision and the goals and our residents, we do our best to collaborate, not only to hear from the public, but also figure out, based on zoning and ordinance, how we can work together. And Heather's been a great partner in doing that. Thank you so much for that. And then last but not least, Mary Oshana, our Economic Development Director. Mary brings a lot of energy to the role. She is a visionary. She's very creative. And what I like more than anything is when I'm talking to business owners, both landlords and tenants, nothing better for your ultimate boss to hear that your staff member is fully engaged, adding value, asking questions, troubleshooting, trying to fix issues. That is Mary, and I'm very, very happy. She's been a very added value to our entire team, and I appreciate that. Now, they're not here, but last but not least, we recently hired a part-time communication specialist, and that person's role is to assist us with communication platforms like our e-newsletter, Instagram, Facebook, and others listed on the screen. And you ask yourself, why is that important to me? It's important because many of our residents don't know what we do behind the scenes. They only see the contentious things. They don't see the other things that we do. It's important to have someone in the communication field that's constantly driving and promoting where you are, what you're doing in the community, and how you're benefiting people. And you can't be there and also promote yourself on those platforms. So we're very happy to have a part-time communication specialist for that. And also too, as I indicated before, please check out our new updated website. It will give you a lot of information for us. It's very detailed. Every page has their own page. Every department has their own page. But for those of you who have young children or grandchildren, one of the great features on our Parks and Rec page is that immediately, if you want to sign up for an activity in the summer and you have a busy schedule, as soon as you go on the page, the sign up launches into the page and you can sign up real time right there. So that's just one of the many enhancements that we have on our updated website. And then another thing is, if you have a business related question after you leave here today, you can reach out to Mary, you can reach out to Heather through community development, but we're more than willing to provide information, details for you. But more than anything, what I want to do is to thank everyone in this room, whether you're part of the Libertyville community or not, for your attendance today, because by being present in the room, it means that everything we're doing in all of our respective communities matters to each and every one of you. And in today's world, it is not enough to be Wikipedia people for information. You need to be involved, you need to do your due diligence, you need to do a deep dive so that you make sure that you're fully informed before you make a comment and before you move forward on something. So thank you for your attention today. Thank you, Scott, for including me, and thank you for everything that you do for Lake County and Libertyville.
Thank you, Donna. I'm happy to introduce our last mayor to introduce, who is our senior mayor of all of our villages, Mr. Bernie Wysocki from Green Oaks.
I want to thank Thom and Robin and Donna. I like coming here each year because you gave a lot of great ideas that I steal, and I look forward each year to coming here and telling you about Green Oaks. But it also reminds me of the fact that year after year you have all these great projects, and that's a lot of pressure. It just keeping up with Vernon Hills and Libertyville and Mundelein is a full-time job, which I won't do. But it reminds me of Lyndon Johnson, who was the president during the 60s, and during a press conference at the end, a news reporter asked him, how do you put up with all this pressure? You got the Vietnam War, you got voting rights problems, you got civil rights issues. And he said, well, whenever I think about all this pressure, I think, it could be worse. I could be a mayor. So Green Oaks is 4,000 people, great zoning because west of the tollway is all single-family residential, east of the tollway is all of our businesses. I have been on the board since 1987, and I became mayor in 2006. We have a Santa parade each year where we go through all of the subdivisions and bring Santa along, and I wave to all the residents, and the residents at the beginning used to wave back single digits to me. But I want you to know, now they use all their fingers when they wave. So, the great thing about Green Oaks is our schools, and we work very closely with our schools. Oak Grove School, rated by niche.com, who rates the schools throughout the country. As far as Lake County is concerned, says Oak Grove is number 3, Roundout is number 2. National Blue Ribbon Schools, our children go to Libertyville High School, which is rated number 7. We've got excellent schools, and it involves a lot of the parents being involved in their children's lives. We are undertaking a new project this year. We completed redoing all of the roads in the village in 6 years. We have a 3-year project of redoing all of the branding of our signs for both businesses and for our subdivisions. These are our projects that we undertake for this year. You may or may not know that cities and villages in the state of Illinois start their fiscal year May 1st. So each community puts together a budget and appropriation for their projects that they're going to have. These are the projects that we're undertaking for this year. Next one. We also have subdivision grant programs where we assist in putting together beautification of each open space and area, and we are very ecologically want to restore everything from its prior buckthorn era. This is a great slide because we have a TIF district, and those of you who do not know about it, tax increment financing, about 1990-something, we annexed the Roundout area. When we did that, we created a TIF district. The top number of 39,000, that was what the equalized assessed value was for that area from 1 year to the next. Since we've taken over that area and redeveloped the area and worked with the businesses in that area, the equalized assessed valuation from that time to now is 42 million. Not bad. It also has a tax increment of 2.8 million from what it was. So next year we'll probably be getting $3 million that we can then move forward to all the taxing bodies and help defer our high real estate taxes that we have in our county. Next one. So this is a great plan that we have with Lamb's Farm, where we're partnering with them to develop their farmyard and recreation area that they have at the north end of Lamb's Farm. And this is a great project because it'll bring people together with the residents in Lamb's Farm, which is a great story in itself. This is the barn where children will be able to go and pet the animals and see the milking the cows, that sort of thing. Next slide. Well, this is our appropriation. We've got a budget this year of just about $12 million. We've had a balanced budget every year. Every year, we've had a AAA rating, which has allowed us to do large projects without a lot of money that we don't have. And it shows we have one of the lowest tax rates in the county. Next slide. Okay, that's about it. Anybody who's really interested in hearing about Green Oaks, I'll be right over here in this corner. But I wanted to tell you one thing that in the TIF district now we have started to acquire all of the blighted areas there, and this is an example of redeveloping shovel-ready areas so that we can put them back on the market and be usable for commercial purposes. Oh, this is a halo effect of TIF districts. There was. But the halo effect is when you redevelop an area, then the area around it, the halo, becomes conducive to more businesses. So the U-Haul there that you saw came to us and said we wanted to have the largest indoor storage, which we gave to them, and now they're fully functioning. I did want to introduce my chief of staff here, my village administrator, Denise Kafkas. She is our only full-time village employee, and she actually grew up on the mean streets of Green Oaks. So, are you doing anything else?
One way to get everyone's attention.
Yeah, well, thank you all.
Well, as you can see, we got a lot going on in these 4 villages, so thank you very much, all 4 of our mayors, for being here. I want to thank Carol for putting all this stuff together for us today, Vera for taking care of all the introductions and all the other things that we do at the table, and my granddaughter Mia for helping us out today. Thank you very much. Be remiss in not thanking Bruce Himmelblau from Blue Sky Video, who's videotaping the whole procedure today. And again, the folks from Mickey Finn's, thanks for what you did for us today.